A lot of times I ask myself a lot of questions. It's like today, I'm like thinking to myself, when did painted t-shirts become something that was in, something that was a thing to wear, or something that how you could reflect and rejoice about the past memories of yesterday. I remember when I was growing up, a lot of times people they didn't have these type of t-shirts to pay homage and to pay respect to fallen soldiers or fallen comrades and things of that nature. But now they always do. And as you can see, I have on one. I pay homage to all of the soldiers who I have love for, and people who I've shared memories with and things of that nature. But the thing that I'm trying to say is, even though I'm wearing a t-shirt and I'm paying homage to my homeboy, a lot of times you may see people wearing t-shirts, and at the time when that person was alive or that person was there, they don't spend no time with that person. They don't chop it up with that person. They don't bond with that person or build with that person. And I just woke up today. I had a very good day. You know, just reflecting and spending time with my loved ones and things of that nature. But me as a person, I always think back to those persons who are no longer here. People who could have been here, but you know, it was up to God to take them away. And I think about the ego and the pride and the things that may have came into existence to cause those types of things where our loved ones are no longer here. The reason I want to talk about this shirt is because, like a long time ago, or a little while ago, I shared about picking your, well, not picking your battles, but being able to understand that a lot of times you have to lose a battle in order to win a war. Let me repeat that again. A lot of times you got to lose a battle to win a war. Coming up in the streets, I wasn't taught that. I wasn't taught that, you know, to be a thinker, to be a conscious person, to think about consequences and things of that nature. And that's why I always tell youngsters and people who are my age, because sometimes people my age, they act worse than some of the youngsters. And I understand that I was a part of that cycle, and I was a part of the things that people who are younger than me aspired to be and looked up to become, because I was once that person. And I want to talk about that because a lot of times people used to ask me all the time, what do you mean by losing a battle in order to win a war? The reason I talk about losing a battle to win a war is because when you're thinking about a war, you're thinking about consequences, you're thinking about things that you can't jeopardize, things that you don't want to separate from, like your kids, your family, things of that nature. But when you're just thinking of a tactical position and you're just thinking about a battle, you're just thinking about going to the battle because it's time to go to battle. And that's what it is, or that's what it seems like it should be. I had to learn to sometimes I have to lose a battle in order to win a war. And then that's not easy. It's not easy to think that somebody is having a sense on you or running game on you or whatever the case may be when you're able to see right through it. But when you look at the ultimate goal, when you look at the things that if you jeopardize in that battle from your movement and things of that nature, you think along the scales of losing a battle in order to win a war. And like I said, it's not easy. It's not easy from a person coming from a street standpoint to lose in any battle. I'm talking about in any war, anything, when it's popping off or going down. But if you're trying to stay here with your loved ones, you're trying to stay here with your family, you have to be a thinker. You have to be a mindful person. And you don't even have to play chess, but you have to have the mind of a chess player. You have to have your defenses up. You have to have your guards up. You have to have the things up will make you have longevity in whatever you choose to reside in, whatever lane you choose to drive in, whatever lane you choose to lay in, or whatever the case you may be, that you choose to term it or place it in that type of position. And when I put on a shirt like this, when I think about my homeboy, I remember a long time ago when we used to share memories, and we used to be over there on Cherry Hill, and you know, I've been a lot of places, but you know, ultimately, my gang come from Palm Beach, from Riviera Beach. That's where I started off in Revere. They call it the Raw, but I say, listen, I come from the woods, but the woods and the Raw is all in one. But the thing I'm saying is because I done been a variety of places. And I done hung with a variety of brothers. I done hung with a variety of men. So I had to get out of that mindset, because if I didn't evolve in my mindset, I will always lose battles. I would never have the mindset that I would have to look out for a war that would give me longevity. Just next month, from doing 19 years, I'll be out. I would have been home 5 years. Never been in trouble since I came home. My homeboys will tell you, never batted an eye, never dipped and dabbed, and never just, you know, when things weren't going rough, I say I'm gonna go back in the lane of hustling, things of that nature. I just never chose it, because ultimately I thought about the terminology that I'm trying to share with you in order to the battle and the war category. Okay, so when the times was getting rough, I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get the cars that I was accustomed to driving in. I couldn't have the money in my pocket that I was accustomed to having in my pocket. All of that is along the terminology of battles. And then the things that play on me when you're talking about a battle is your ego and your pride. A person who's grown up in the street and who's accustomed to having the cars and the jewelry and the women, things of that nature, that plays a big picture on your ego and your pride. But one thing I had to learn to overcome when I was in prison was my ego and my pride, because like I said, I was here for the long haul, and if I was in there for the long haul, I gotta be able to be out here for the long haul. Because even though I know it starts with me, like I'm gonna always tell you, I always look at the bigger picture. And the reason I'm telling you that it ain't easy to lose a battle in order to win a war is because I've been in that mindset. I've been in that category. I've played in those type of lanes. I've been in that type of game where I know it's easier said than done. What I mean is easier said than done. When I'm talking about the picture, when you see this picture on my shirt, who's to say because I wasn't there? But the reason I'm sharing this example and I'm wearing this shirt is because I love this brother. But just as I love this brother, I love a lot of other brothers who I don't have on my shirt, that you may have on your shirt. But the thing you got to ask yourself when you talking about losing a battle in order to win a war, when your homie doing wrong, do you pull up on him by himself and chop it up just like y'all riding and chopping it up in the flies of cars, and you doing this and doing that? Do you pull up on your homie when he wrong and tell him like, listen man, I love you bro, but you was dead wrong? Because if he end up on one of these shirts, just like my homeboy on one of these shirts, I'm not saying ideally if you're a knowledgeable person or you're a mindful person that the whole fault is yours, but a snippet of that information and a snippet of that fault does reside with you. Because you just willing to ride with your homie because he willing to ride. It's cool to ride with your homie, but the thing is, when you're out in a society that has the deck stacked up against you, you got to choose your battles in order to win a war. You got to think about the consequences. You got to think about, I'm going to give you an example. What I had to learn the hard way, and it's just a jewel that I'm dropping to you. They have the differences between acting and reacting. A lot of times people don't know the difference between acting and reacting. Let me give you an example. When you're acting, you're thinking about the consequences. You're thinking about, listen, man, I got to take this to the chin in order to look at the overall goal, to be here with my family and everything of that nature. When you're reacting, it's like, okay, the dude step on my shoes. The dude from somewhere else, I don't know the dude. I feel the dude been looking at me sideways. I'm just going to go off on the dude. I'm just going to smash out. I'm just going to grab that tool. I'm just going to do whatever I feel is the right thing to do because I'm just going off my emotions. And I want to make it seem, I want to feed my ego. I want to feed my pride. But then I'm not thinking about the consequences. I'm not thinking about the consequences of my actions. That's the difference between reacting and acting. When I'm acting, I'm thinking about the consequences. I'm thinking about, hey, listen, I may not need to slide on him. It's not worth the slide on him. I just need to let that pass. And if I do choose to slide on him, I'm not going to do it right here in front of everybody where I'm going to do something wrong, and then I got to face the consequences of it. And I'm not giving you that jewel or that information to say that it's right, because it's too many of us on the t-shirt. It's just like I spoke about one time ago when I spoke at the University of Miami when I first came home, and a young lady, very intelligent, very gifted, she used to ask me all the time, well, what do you feel about atrocities? What do you feel about police brutality and everything of that nature? I say, well, in my heart, that hurts me because I'm a black man. Every time I'm getting pulled over by the police, I have to look over my shoulder, because when they call my name on that radio, they gonna call back up. They gonna say, man, this man been in prison for 19 years. He got a possession of firearm in his record and everything. So I'm in the same category as anybody who is pulled over or has faced those atrocities with the police. Because when I'm sliding in my car, I gotta be mindful. I'm gonna give you an example. One time when the police pulled me downtown coming off Tamarind, the police say, man, let me get your ID, your driver's license, or whatever the case may be. I say, listen, I don't feel safe. Not saying I don't have it, but I will feel safer if you pull me out the car, and then I can give you that, because I don't want to reach for anything while I'm inside the car. I don't want to reach for anything from inside the car, because I know you done already called my name, and I know you already know my jacket. So I give you those examples because I'm a black man and I'm a target, and I'm faced with the same things that any other black man who is pulled over, who is a convicted felon, is faced with. So I had to learn to let my ego and my pride down and say, well, you know what? I need to take some of them losses on the chin, because my overall goal is to stay out here with my family. My overall goal is to be a good father. My overall goal is to be a good grandfather. So when I'm thinking like that, though, I don't need to be jeopardizing nothing. I don't need to make no drastic decisions. I don't need to make no drastic movements that's going to cause me, because I'm stuck in my ego and my pride. And the reason I tell you this is because a lot of people need to learn this type of information. I had to learn it the hard way, and I tell people all the time, you say that you built for that, you say that you built for that, but then when the people come get you, you tell them for a donut and some coffee. And not even a donut and a coffee, because that's some other stuff. You telling for a Pepsi. You telling because they done came in there saying, well, your homeboy done said this and said that. You don't know what your homeboy done said, but you keep running your mouth. Now you running your mouth. And now everybody jammed up. So when you think like that, when you think about the battles in order to win the war, you got to be more of a thinker. I used to tell them jitterbugs all the time. They be like, man, OG, what you do? I say, listen, man, when I came up, I was fighting, win, lose, or draw. Swole lip, bust eye, don't make no difference. The dude, I felt he got the best of me. I'm going to come back and catch him wherever I catch him. I'm going to steal him. We going to fight again. It was never strictly about gunplay. The youngster generation, they ain't doing no fighting. They'll fight, but it ain't going to end in a fight. And even if the person that you fought, he don't want to get at you, his little homie going to get at you. So if you know that you're in a battle of that nature, and your mindset is to win a war, you got to be a better thinker. You got to not put yourself in a position or put yourself in a limelight that have to face those type of oppositions. You got to put yourself in the limelight where you not in the category where if you know dude don't disliking you for no reason and things of that nature, don't even go to those type of places, because you got too much to lose. Every time I tell people, a lot of times, you always got to think. When you find yourself in conflict and confrontations, always think. Sometimes people have more so to lose than you or less to lose than you. Whatever category that you fall in, you need to think. If you have more to lose than the next person, why waste your energy? Why give that person your energy when you know you're gonna lose the battle? Or you're gonna lose the war? In other words, you're gonna lose the war because the battle is. So just think at the chin and be like, you know what? Man, dude ain't even worth my time. Let me just clear. It ain't even worth that. Sometimes you can't get everybody your energy, whether it be in a relationship or friendship, things of that nature. Just know I'm telling you that because I love you. Always remember, always be reflectful, always think about it. And for my homeboy, man, I miss you and not a day go by when I used to think about the hill. You already know what it is, man. I love y'all.